guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome to another celebrating Bowie video. Today we are looking at my second favourite David Bowie album, which is The Fall and Rise of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, which I do have a couple of versions of it, as they're both from the box set. Yes, I did. If you did see my video of my top 10 favorite Bowie albums, you see it was number 2. And if you might have seen my other video of how I sort of got into David Bowie, I discussed how I managed to pick that up on my first sort of wages, because obviously before this I bought Hunky Dory, and I bought the single Rebel Rebel, and I also had pin-ups. And on my first payday, when I got my first job when I was about 14, 15, I bought Ziggy Stardust and I bought Low. They were the two albums that I bought because I was just so obsessed with Bowie already, and I only had at that point I only had 2 albums and 1 7-inch single, but I was obsessed and my walls were covered with him. Hopefully this will change soon. I have got a poster of Bowie on order just to put up, just in celebration of his 10th year of passing. We've had 10 years without him and it's been horrible. But anyway, so today we're going to be going on a deep down look at Ziggy Stardust and any associated releases with that album. So let's not waste time. Let's have a good look at the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. So here we are, guys. Here's the actual album. I don't own it on vinyl anymore, but unfortunately I wish I kind of did, but as things happened in my life, all my vinyl went, sadly. But here it is. This is David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. I have 2 versions of the album. I believe one is a remaster, like a 2017 edition, I think, of the album. But I believe the track listings are exactly the same. It was just sort of done for the 5 years box set. But this is the original one, which comes in the original sort of album sleeve on the gold disc. So the tracks on Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars is on side 1. You have 5 Years, Soul Love, Moon Age Daydream, Starman, and It Ain't Easy. On side 2, you have Lady Stardust, Star, Hang On To Yourself, Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, and Rock and Roll Suicide. That is the official track listing of the official release, and this is the official release because that has got the original back of the album with the original cover, and this one here has a slightly different cover. As you can see, it's got like a different front cover and also a different reverse, but the track listing is exactly the same. 5 Years, Soul Love, Moon Age Daydream, Starman, It Ain't Easy, Lady Stardust, Star, Hang On To Yourself, Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, and Rock and Roll Suicide. Very, very cool. It's such a great album. It's one of those albums with a classic sort of beginning with the very slow drums and silent drums of 5 Years. It just builds up, and then we get the strum of the acoustic guitar and Bowie's first vocals. Yeah, it's such a great album with a great cover. I must visit this area in London. It's got to be one of my bucket list to do, to go and visit the actual location of the cover, because it was taken in London. Very cool. And following the release of the album came a live album, which also had a movie with it called Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, the motion picture, which I have a few different sort of variants of it. This was the first one I bought, that one there, looking a bit tatty now though. That's the 30th anniversary. and then we have this one which came in the 5 years set, and then we also have the 50th anniversary of it, which is, this one's probably the better one because it's got the 2 CDs. These are both just 2 CDs. This one has 2 CDs and a Blu-ray of the motion picture. So we'll have a look at these. This one here is the 50th anniversary edition. It does contain like a new mix, I believe, by Tony. So in this one, you got the concerts. You got part 1. You have intro, Hang On To Yourself, Ziggy Stardust, Watch That Man, Wide Eye Boy from Free Cloud, All the Young Dudes, Oh You Pretty Thing, Moon Age Daydream, Changes, Space Oddity, and My Death. And on the next disc you have intro, Cracked Actor, Time, The Width of a Circle, which is 15 minutes 45. It's a heck of a track, that one. Let's Spend the Night Together, Suffragette City, White Light, White Heat, Farewell Speech, and Rock and Roll Suicide. And these are on these kind of red discs. Which is kind of unique to this set. And these were recorded at the Hammersmith Odeon, July the 3rd, 1973. And there is the ticket. £2 it would have cost you. £2, guys, to see David Bowie at Hammersmith. It also comes with a booklet going through a remembrance of the actual concert by the director of the film, D.A. Penbaker. Although it is pretty much, it is the whole concert on film, but there are clips of Bowie backstage and the sort of set up to, you know, the build up to the show and stuff like that, which is really, really cool. And it tells you it's available on DVD, which I do have somewhere, but I couldn't find it for this video. We then have a poster in this set, which is rather large, and is just the cover, I believe, of the album. So it's the anniversary sort of cover of the album, with loads of newspaper clippings on the reverse of reviews of him, because he stated in it it's the last concert we're ever going to do. That's why it says Bowie quits. People misread that and thought he wasn't going to play live anymore. It wasn't that. He just meant it was the end of the character Ziggy Stardust. So that's a nice little set. That's why I've kept hold of it. Although this is looking a bit tatty now, but the coloration with the age. But there you go. I've had it a good few years now. Let's pop that back in there in the right way, Joff. There we go. So that's the 30th anniversary edition of that. So that must, you know, I've had it for a number of years, but it's still great to have that in my collection. But with the 5 years box set, it was in there as a remastered edition, which is probably about a 2017 or 2015 sort of remaster. I can't remember the year this was remastered in, but the track listing is exactly the same, so I don't really need to read through that for you. I'll just show you the insides. It does have the same inserts of the box set as you see there, but the discs here should be on gold disc, as you can see. So this was on this is the tour between Ziggy Stardust and A Lad Insane. So really cool album, really great. So really cool, fantastic live album. But then we got a couple of years ago, I think it's come out 2023, I think, something like that. And this is the 50th anniversary of it. And this one actually comes with the actual movie. It comes with 2 CDs It does come with a booklet, which is different to the other booklet, which is nice, with some pictures in there and some essays. Very cool. David had a number of costume changes in this concert. The Blu-ray does have a 5.1 DTS sound on it, which is really cool. So that's the booklet that comes with it. The CDs are all sort of gold on the front, but normal CD colour on the back. CD1, CD2, and in here, I wish they had these where the disc loaded at the top. It's just so much easier, because I'm just so worried I'm going to rip it. Is the Blu-ray, and that sort of outer picture shows you the sort of billboard on top of the Hammersmith Odeon. From 8 PM we're all working together with David Bowie. There's some pictures there, David, and the track listing is exactly the same on the Blu-ray as the concert. So again, I don't need to go through it with you with the concert, the track listing, because it is exactly the same. And the Sue CDs are exactly the same track listing as those. So it's just 3 different masters of that live album, which is really, really cool. So let's have a look at the build up to Ziggy Stardust and the journey to Ziggy Stardust with this set, which is called Rock and Roll Star. Oh, let's remove my scissors there, guys. So yeah, this is a box set called Rock and Roll Star, which tells us the story and the build up to Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. I could make a transformation as a rock and roll star. So I'll remove the contents from the box. We have 2 books in here, and we also have the back sheet with the track listings on the CDs. There's 5 CDs in here and a Blu-ray in this set. We have this booklet, which is like a student notebook of David Bowie, which we will look at first. And then we have this booklet here, which contains the CDs. So this is like a little added booklet that's, well, it's quite a big booklet that's added into this set, and it's set up as in David's sort of like a school book, like you used to get at school. Do you remember these? You used to write your notes and stuff. Get your BS4 book out, you know. You can see it's David. He's got the Aladdin saying or Ziggy sign there. And these contain all sort of written things from David of all of his sort of songs, building up these songs. You can see it's got some sort of smudges there. That's not me, that's built into the page. And it's got like a list in here, like a set list there almost. So these are lyrics and all sorts of things that David thought about at the time in the build up towards the album Ziggy Stardust. Talking about the track here, Velvet Goldmine. So these are very, very cool. It's just something nice to have, all these written hand notes, you know, which are really cool. Here we have the lyrics here to Ziggy Stardust. So David's written those down, really cool. I love all this. And look at this, the record, fans' point of view, down at Zips. This looks like, again, another sort of set list for a gig on this side, and maybe that side as well. These do look like sort of different set lists and things like that. Some doodling there from David of like some sort of a plan of like the way things might be able to look. Very, very cool. This is just like historically nice to have. It's not anything, you know, like groundbreaking, but it's just historically nice. These are doodles and information and written stuff from David, and it's just really, really cool. It's almost like he's planning out the albums, you know, what to put on it, or what the set list would be on the shows, who's playing here, who he wants playing on Stars, piano, Rick Wakeman. It's just really, really cool. The lyrics are Soul Love. I was singing that all day yesterday at work. Moon Age Daydream lyrics. So it's very, very cool. We have some, he's written down there some of his tour dates there, what he's going to be, because I've obviously had different sets. So set 1 for the far north, and he obviously had set 2 far south, set 3, so it goes through all the different things of like him arranging it, which is really, really cool. And there's loads of numbers there, which I'm not sure what that actually means, but yeah, really, really cool. Might be ticket sales or something like that. He's drawn a little crocodile there. Yeah, so that's the first sort of book that comes in this set, which is quite interesting. Just nice to have. Pop that back in the box there, just so I've got it out of the way. And we'll look at the main book, which is this one. Let me make sure it opens nicely. We've got the first couple of CDs on view here. We've got a leaflet here for a book called Moon Age Daydream. Photographs by Mick Rook. It's like a photograph book. I don't have this. I don't know if it's still available to order, but yeah, it's nice to have that. But we have the first 2 CDs of the set, so we're going to have a look at these. These have all got different pictures on the front, which is really, really nice, with your track list in there on the back, and your disc has Bowie instead of RCA written on it, mono and stereo. So let's try and have a look at the track listings on disc 1. It starts off with So Long 60s, recorded at a San Francisco hotel. Hang On To Yourself, early demo. Lady Stardust demo. Ziggy Stardust demo. Stars, aka Stars demo. Soul Love demo with spoken notes. Starman demo 1. Starman demo 2. Moon Age Daydream, the Arnold Corns mix. Hang On To Yourself, the Arnold Corn version. Looking for a Friend, the Arnold Corn version, rough mix. Then we have Hayden Hall Rehearsals, Ziggy Stardust, Holy Holy Soul Love, Stars, Hayden Hall Rehearsal, and Sweet Head, also from Hayden Hall Rehearsal. And that's what's on disc 1. On disc 2, once again, this time we have it in red, in mono and stereo, the track listing on the back. On disc 2, we have sessions recorded on the 16th of May for broadcast on the 23rd for the Sounds of the 70s John Peel. We have White Light, White Heat, Moon Age Daydream, Hang On To Yourself, Suffragist City, and Ziggy Stardust. Then we have the Johnny Walker Lunchtime Show, recorded in May 1972, and it's Starman, Space Oddity, Changes, Oh You Pretty Thing. And then we have Sound of the 70s again, this time the Bob Harris Show in May 1972, and he's performing Andy Warhol, Lady Stardust, White Light, White Heat, Rock and Roll Suicide. And it ends with the Top of the Pops live performance of Starman. Don't be fooled, it's not Top of the Pops video, it is the actual recording of it on audio. So that is disc 2. So before we get to the other disc, shall we jump through the book? So it comes with a hard card that separates it from the book, which is quite a nice touch. And there we have the pattern there of the Ziggy Stardust clothes that he wears, like if you see on the cover. That's the pattern of his clothes. Very nice. Rock and roll star. Great picture of David there. I could make a transformation as a rock and roll star. This is David Bowie is Ziggy Stardust. So we have various sort of quotes and the songwriting demos. Goes through the demos that are on the disc and who's playing on them. And there we have like the original sort of demo tape. So this is going through the track by track. And then we got to the Arnold Corns recordings, which is written and produced by David Bowie. Moon's Daydreams. These were made with Mercury Records. I think these what they're going to come out with, but I think they lost the contract, maybe, possibly. I haven't read it through yet, and obviously they didn't sort of come out, but they're on here. And then we've got a bigger essay about the recordings there. This is from the about the Hayden Hall rehearsals. Hayden Hall. Is it Beckenham? Beckenham, 1971. So David just started to grow his first sort of mullet there. Look at it. Oh dear. Lots and lots of information here about the different sessions, and there's all little explanations about the sort of different demos and sessions that were on these discs. So incredible. Poster there of him performing there, probably at some concert there. Glastonbury. So that's a poster from the Glastonbury, where he performed there with Grateful Dead played there, Mark Bolan, Pete Townsend, David Bowie, Hawkwind, Pink Fairies. Cool. That's is it an album? Could actually be an album, actually. Everything ribbons in time and becomes a fruit of an hour. Okay, that's pretty cool. Great picture of David there, chilling out. It looks like old. He looks like his 1960s look there, doesn't he? His Davy Jones look. Just so cool. He's just class, isn't he? He's just elegant. He's just classy. He's just cool. And this is a wonderful, wonderful booklet. Well, it's not really a booklet, it's a massive hardback book, isn't it? There he is with his band there. Mick Ronson. This now goes through the BBC sessions, the John Peel and Bob Harris. There's some early flyers there for some gigs at Aylesbury. I believe the Aylesbury concert is in this set. We'll get to that. Great picture of David there at Aylesbury. That concert is in this set. A review there. Goes on about being on the old grey whistle test, which I believe is also in this set. There is a Blu-ray in this set, but I'll just let you know now, guys, it is not any visuals on there. It is audio only, which I think it sort of contains like a higher grade mix of the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. The actual album isn't on here. apart from on the Blu-ray disc. You have to get those separately. This is the story of the journey to Ziggy Stardust. Great picture of David there with Hunky Dory. So, because I know some people brought this thinking, oh, it's going to have Ziggy, it's going to have the album on it. It doesn't. It does, but it's only on the Blu-ray disc. If you want the actual physical album of Ziggy Stardust, you have to buy that on its separately. Early poster there, very bizarre poster. David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust from RCA. Here we have some great different shots from the original cover. Fantastic. Any of these could have been the album cover. That would have been a good back cover with the tracks down there. And there we have the release of the UK. (1972) it came out. June the 16th, 1972. I remember this poster. Loads of press cuttings. Bowie at his best. These are going to be talking about the tours that are associated to it. There they are on top of the pops. Mick Ronson there and David. David loving Mick's guitar a little bit too much there. I believe that's from Melody Maker. More interviews and essays. Wow, you've got to be brave to wear that colour. And again, David can pull off most things actually. K West there. It's the original K West sign. That's from the album cover. The bottom of it is a legal letter from the solicitors of K West, complaining about the use of the business sign in the album cover. So they used the album on the album cover, and the K West solicitors complained about it. I wonder if they're still worried about that now, today. I would have thought it'd been a good advert, but there we go. So we have some different singles and associated things to the album here. Great shot of David there. That's so cool. He's wearing like a carpet there. I would have probably said that when I was little. Look at David, Mum, he's wearing a carpet. But there we go. That was just that age, wasn't it? Early 70s. Anything went. You go down Old Kent Road and Carnaby Street in London. Everybody probably dressed like that, from just coming out of the 60s sort of hippie flower power look. And David turned it round to a glam look. That's a great picture. Stunning. Different posters associated with the tour and the albums. You've got one there with Hunky Dory and Ziggy Stardust in there, obviously promoting the two albums together. We will do a different video of Hunky Dory. That also deserves its own sort of video. Not as many related releases to it, but we'll still do one, so it won't be as long as this one probably. He says this goes on about Shadow Man, which is an unreleased track, I believe, of Bowie. So when you're listening to this album, if you've got these box sets, you can go through this and read it while you're listening to it. It's the best way to do it. It really immerses you. And then we have a complete breakdown of every track on this album, who's played on it and where it's from, which is absolutely fantastic. And there's all the credits and thank yous to all the photographs and all the information there. And David exiting the stage there from the Rainbow Theatre, 1972. The confusion set in. Who was Ziggy? Who was David Bowie? So we get to the last ones here. We have the other 3 discs and the Blu-ray. So we'll start with disc 3, which is in this one here, on the blue label, mono. Okay, the track listing on disc 3. It starts off with the Sound of the 70s again, John Peel. This was recorded in 1972 again, and it's White Light, White Heat, Moon Age Daydream, Hang On To Yourself, Suffragette City, and Ziggy Stardust. Doodly-dee-dee. Then it goes on to a Lunchtime with Starman, Space Oddity, Changes, All You Pretty Things. And then we've got the Bob Harris tracks that I told you about, and then we have the Top of the Pops of Starman. I've actually got it wrong. When I was reading the tracks on disc 2, I read all of that. So that was disc 2 up to the Old Grey Whistle Test performance. So we'll go through disc 2 again, because I've read out the wrong tracks. I read out disc 3 on disc 2. So disc 2, which is this one, are these. It's the Sound of the 70s John Peel session with Ziggy Stardust, Queen Bitch, Waiting for the Man, Lady Stardust, and it has a Bob Harris Sound of the 70s from 1972 January with Hang On To Yourself, Ziggy Stardust, Queen Bitch, Waiting for the Man, and 5 Years. And then we have the Old Grey Whistle Test performance of All You Pretty Things, Queen Bitch, and 5 Years. Sorry about the mix up, guys. I read the wrong ones out. So the ones that I read for track 2, disc 2, was actually this disc. So it's White Light, White Heat, Moon Age Daydream, Hang On To Yourself, Suffragette City, Ziggy Stardust from John Peel, The Lunchtime from Johnny Walker, Starman, Space Oddity, Changes, All You Pretty Things, and the Bob Harris one is Andy Warhol, Lady Stardust, White Light, White Heat, Rock and Roll Suicide, and the Top of the Pops performance of Starman. So on the final disc, no, is that disc? No, we've got disc 4 now. See, I'm jumping everywhere. I should just read it from the back of the disc. It would have been so much easier job. This one is on a purple. The track listing for this one is Round and Round, the Superman Ziggy version, Holy Holy Ziggy session version, Velvet Goldmine Ziggy version, Starman original single mix, John I'm Only Dancing original single mix, and then we have recorded live at Music Hall in Boston 1972, the Superman, Changes, Life on Mars, My Death, and John I'm Only Dancing. That's that disc. So on disc 5, I think we'll have the Owlsbury concert on there, which is on a yellow disc. Track listing on the back. So disc 5, we have Looking for a Friend, the Arnold Corn version. I think I'm talking about the wrong set here. There isn't the live disc in here from Owlsbury. Sorry guys, I think that's from a different set. This one, disc 5, has Looking for a Friend, Hang On To Yourself, early Ziggy version, Star, take 5, Lady Stardust, take 1, Shadow Man, Ziggy version, the Superman Ziggy session 2023 mix, Holy Holy Ziggy Stardust session, alternative mix, Round and Round alternative mix, It's gonna rain again Ziggy session outtake, Looking for a Friend Ziggy session version, Velvet Goldmine Ziggy session from 2022 mix, Sweethead Ziggy version for outtake from 2022 mix, Starman Top of the Pops version from 2022 mix, John I'm Only Dancing alternative Trident studio mix, and I Can't Explain, which is a cover version of The Who, and a bonus mix of Moon Age Daydream, which is an instrumental. So I'm getting a bit mixed up. The Owlsbury show is an associated part with Hunky Dory, so we'll cover that in the Hunky Dory one. So that's what comes on all the discs. And on the Blu-ray disc, which is this one, it's on the black there. So sorry guys, I do get mixed up a lot, don't I? So on this disc we have the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars original album mix, the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders of Mars and extras on, it's a 2003 mix, which is going to be that mix. So you've got these two mixes on the Blu-ray here. Waiting in the Sky, Before the Starman Came to Earth, early Ziggy Stardust album track listing. So that got a vinyl released, Waiting for the Sky, on the Record Store Day. It was just the Ziggy Stardust album but in a different set order, which would have been nice to have been in this set rather than the Ziggy Stardust. That would have been cool. And it has the singles on there, and it also has some outtakes and alternative versions. So there's quite a bit on there. Doesn't go through the whole track listings, it just gives you what is on the disc. So that is what's on the Blu-ray, and that's the end of that booklet, which is very, very cool. Amazing. So we pop these back away. We'll see if this will fit in there for me to keep that nice. And we'll try and squeeze this back into the box. It is a tight squeeze, this box. It's a great box, but it's a bit of a pain in the bottom. You've got to squeeze the book together, both ends, to actually get it to all fit in there. So we are finally in. Sorry guys, messing you about here. And that goes in like that. And that is the box set of Rock and Roll Star. So that's all the associated releases and the journey towards Ziggy Stardust. So we've had a good close look at the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. So there we are guys, bit of another lengthy video, but a lot to go through because there's a lot of stuff that I have associated with the album, more than you've thought actually, didn't you? You probably thought, oh, he's going to show these and he's going to show us the live album. But no, I have actually a whole 5-disc box set of unreleased material associated with Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Sorry about some of the mix-ups. Obviously I read the wrong track listing for disc 2, just because I just misread it a little bit, because I was reading it from the sheet and it's quite small, and even with my glasses on I struggled. So I got those wrong the wrong way, but we sorted that out. And I said about the Owlsbury concert, because there's photographs in here, but it's not associated with this album. I believe it's associated with Hunky Dory, which we'll try and have a look at in another video in another month. But today this is all about Ziggy, which is an incredible album. And I hope you've liked this sort of close look at some of the tracks and some of the rare photos and stuff that he's done to build up with some of the sessions, a lot of John Peel and Bob Harris sessions, which actually roll over a mix of tracks from Hunky Dory through to the Ziggy Stardust. It doesn't really go too much into the Aladdin saying, I believe there is Queen Bitch and stuff like this, which is a bit of a later Bowie stuff that he's actually already performing on here. But yeah, it's really, really cool. Great stuff. Thank you so much for coming in. A massive shout out to my lad. See you soon, guys.